The debates have featured presidential and vice presidential candidates unfolding their plans for the country and strategies of implementation before a radio television live audience. The Nigerian Elections Debates Group, NEDG, is broad-based, consisting of over 250 terrestrial broadcast stations, the print media, which allows the voting public in Nigeria to appraise the candidates through their radio and television stations, as well as newspapers and magazines. In 2003 and 2007, the NEDG successfully organized presidential and vice presidential debates in Nigeria. The NEDG platform is a credible forum that will enable candidates present their policies and programs directly to several millions of Nigerians at home and abroad at a go. Voice of Nigeria, the external radio broadcasting network, is also broadcasting these presidential debates to the rest of the world. NEDG is the largest, most experienced debates group in Nigeria and Africa, and we have influenced election debates in South Africa, Ghana, the United Kingdom, and helped to establish debates group in Burundi. NEDG has the widest reach in Nigeria, a reach that is truly national, global, suburban, and deep into rural communities. The NEDG platform is the greatest opportunity for invited presidential candidates to reach several millions of Nigerians at home and abroad. The debates are issue-based and issue-driven, aimed at setting public agenda which may form the basis of policy formulation and direction of government. The NEDG has been endorsed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, NBC, NOAA, NDI, CPD, and UNDP. The presence of every other party that has participated in the debate shows that the NEDG has been able to once more afford Nigerians the opportunity to watch and listen to presidential candidates present their programs, policies, and plans to the Nigerian people through radio and television across the country. The presidential candidates of the 8 political parties shortlisted for the 2011 debate were duly and formally invited in writing. The candidates were also sent the debate format, the debate rules, and 24 areas identified for the debates. In the last 1 week alone, NEDG had painstakingly reached out to the candidates and their party leadership. Yesterday, 3 out of the 4 presidential candidates invited had a most successful debate, and Nigerians have seen leadership by example. For this evening presidential debates, NEDG is yet to receive any formal written notification from the presidential candidate of CPC, ANPP, and ACN on whether or not they are participating. Whereas, in 2003, NEDG presidential debates, the National on the non-availability of his vice presidential candidate, Alhaji Aliyu Bufari, for the NEDG 2003 debate, a demonstration of courtesy and mutual respect. NEDG has a reputation built on integrity, trust, professionalism, and experience of its leadership towards making debates a permanent component of democratic process in Nigeria. Quite often, it is not how much people don't know about NEDG and the planning and organization of debates as how wrong they are in what they think they know. Those who are aspiring for elective leadership positions in Nigeria must desist from abuse of privilege and abuse of platform. NEDG is staying and going ahead by leading change in debates best practices. Once again, I welcome you to today's edition of the 2011 Nigerian Elections Debates Group NEDG Presidential Debates. I now proceed to hand over the envelopes containing the questions to the moderator and panelists, which they are seeing for the first time. I thank you all.
Good evening and welcome to the Congress Hall of the Transcorp Hilton Hotel Abuja, venue of Nigeria's 2011 presidential debate, organized by the Nigerian Elections Debates Group, NEDG. The NEDG, as you have been told, is a coalition of the Nigerian media, professional bodies, women, youth, civil society organizations, and Nigeria in Diaspora Organization. The 2011 presidential debate is supported by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, National Broadcasting Commission, National Orientation Agency, National Democratic Institute, USA, the Democratic Governance for Development Project, which is managed by the UNDP, and the United States Commission for Presidential Debates. My name is Imoni Amarere, and I have with me on the debate this evening two panelists who will be introducing themselves now.
Benga Adefaye, President, Nigerian Guild of Editors, Editor-in-Chief, Vanguard Newspapers, Lagos.
Muhammad Garba, Editor, The Triumph, and President, Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ.
Thank you very much. May I proceed now to invite the candidate. Usually it will be candidates for this debate, but I'm reliably informed that only one of the four candidates for today's debate is present, and I will now proceed to invite him to the podium for the debate to commence. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now that the candidate is Thank you very much. Now that the candidate is here, let us quickly again introduce the panelists. We have with us Mr. Gbenga Adefaye, who is president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors and editor-in-chief of the Vanguard newspapers. He's joined by Malam Mohammed Garba, president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ. Our timekeeper is Amaka Okonkwo. My name, once more, is Imoni Amarere. Now let's quickly acquaint you with the details and rules of this debate. This is the third day of the 2011 presidential debates and the second presidential debate, which ought to be involving the Action Congress of Nigeria, the All Nigeria People's Party, Congress for Progressive Change, and the People's Democratic Party. Now, pairing of the parties for each session of the presidential debate is according to the party's visibility in the House of Representatives election for 2011. The rules are the same for every day and for every session. Each candidate is allowed 3 minutes for opening statement. Questions are limited to the broad areas already disclosed to the candidates. Each candidate has 3 minutes to answer a question. 2 minutes is allowed each of the other candidates for a rebuttal. The moderator is allowed follow-up questions based on issues raised in the rebuttal. Profane language is strictly not allowed. Direct attacks on candidates' personality are prohibited. Higher sense of decency and decorum must be maintained in the course of the debate. Candidates are allowed 2 minutes each for their closing statements. The time period allowed for questions to be answered must be strictly adhered to. For timing, green light will indicate start. Amber is a warning that only 30 seconds are left, while red indicates stop. Now, as you've been told, none of us on this panel was aware of the questions until now. Where there is in this Congress Hall a cross-section of the public which forms our audience. The audience is non-participatory. For emphasis, the audience is non-participatory and is not allowed to interrupt, applaud, cheer, yell, or say anything while the debate is on. You are very free to smile, to grin, whatever you want to do, but no clapping, no applause, and no laughter. All cell phones must at this time be switched off or put on silent mode. Remember, green light means start, amber 30 minutes, 30 seconds to go, and red means stop. We will proceed with the debate now, and we'll be inviting candidate Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to please make his opening statement.
Thank you. First, let me thank and commend the Nigerian Election Debate Group for organizing this presidential debate, because it gives us the opportunity to expose our thinking to Nigerians. For me, as a person and the candidate of PDP, Nigerians know almost everything about me. I'm probably the most exposed president, one president that people know so much about. I'm an ordinary Nigerian, like about 80% of Nigerians, from very, very humble background. And by your grace and divine providence that I'm here today, as the presidential candidate of the PDP. First, let me also use the opportunity to thank Nigerians for the encouragement, especially when we had challenges as a nation. When I served as a vice president, later as an acting president, your support and encouragement helped to stabilize this country and brought us to where we are today. I'm indeed happy for this debate, and let me also use this opportunity to explain why I was not there when NN24 had their debate. Because when the issue of election came up after our primaries, more than 10 different organizations, NGOs, and media houses contacted me for debate. And the feeling we have is that a president doesn't have the luxury of multiple debates, and that the Nigerian election debate group should coordinate and make one debate, and every organization can telecast or broadcast using their own various media. Unfortunately, that very Friday, I traveled out of the country, came back at about 7:30 in the evening, only to get the information that a debate was going on. It's an opportunity today for me to be confronted with those issues, but basically, as a person, and as a PDP candidate, we are totally committed to transform this country. I came from a very humble background, and I have the privilege of serving as a deputy governor of a rural state, then a governor of that state, and I came in as a vice president and as a president. In 2007, I moved around this country in our own effort to campaign. Then this time around, we moved around this country, and I've been faced with the challenges, and I appreciate the problems. And I've also had the opportunity to see the vast resources we have in terms of arable land for agriculture, in terms of water bodies that could be used.
I'm sorry, your time is up. I'll be asking the first question. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, you seek to be president of Nigeria. What is it that you think you are bringing to the table that is different from every other person and what we have had in the past that should make Nigerians entrust you with power as president of Nigeria?
I want to be the president of Nigeria because I'm totally committed to transform this country. If given the opportunity to continue as the president for the next 4 years, a good number of things that I started with the former president, now late, and we've been going on with it, and the others we planned will have the opportunity to see them through. First thing that Nigerians always remind us of is the issue of power. That if you can fix power, you will at least solve the bulk of the problems we have, even in terms of wealth creation. These are things that we have been working on, and we believe that if given the opportunity for the next 4 years, we'll be able to get to a point where we'll stabilize power reasonably. But one thing that I stand for, which is quite significant, is the unity of this country and hope for Nigerians. My presidency will bring hope to this country. My presidency will encourage Nigerians that irrespective of your background, wherever you come from, you will have the opportunity to get to the top of your career if you are hardworking, you are committed, and you are disciplined. We have been running transparent system, and will continue to run transparent system, a system that will not discriminate, and that is what we stand for. That will make me different from quite a number of others. Quite a number of Nigerians are qualified to be president, no doubt about that, but most of them have not shown interest. But among those who have shown interest from all the political parties, we believe that I am the best material because of my background experience and because of my commitment to use myself as an example and because of the way I do things. I will not discriminate against anybody. I will not come up with policies that will bring development to one part of the country at the expense of other parts. I'll make sure that resources are distributed uniformly and that all Nigerians have equal opportunity to participate in governance. These are some of the attributes I have that others probably may not have. And the background experience I have as somebody who operated at the state as a deputy governor, somebody who operated at the state as a governor, and haven't served as a vice president and a president, and somebody who have gone around this country 2 times and other visits, that I'm now confronted, and of course the problems are quite vivid. It placed me in a better position to address the issues of development.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gbenga Adefaye asks the next question.
Dr. Jonathan, the yearly rating of Nigeria by the Transparency International as a corrupt nation has assumed a status of national embarrassment. Also, political appointments as compensation for political support and as well as propensity for spoils of office have been argued as impediment to fight against corruption, especially godfatherism. What criteria will you set aside as basis for key political appointments, and what will you do to institutionalize the culture of leadership by example? Thank you.
It's good that you concluded by emphasizing on leadership by example. Luckily for me, and luckily for Nigerians, they knew me as a deputy governor, they knew me as a governor, I was the vice president, and of course I took over as the president, and I've made political appointments. And from the appointments I've made, you'll agree with me that the appointments were not based on who I know. I appointed people to very, very sensitive offices, people I've never interacted with. My chief economic advisor, I never interacted with her before. But from the questions I asked, she was recommended and I appointed her. Even for the elections that I was to contest, I never interacted with Professor Jiga, and I wanted somebody that the level of credibility would transcend Nigeria, somebody that the international community will also believe in. And from all my investigation, Professor Jiga's name appeared in quite a number of places, and I gave him the appointment. That should tell you, in fact, my finance minister never interacted with him. Most of these ministers, go and ask them. I don't know them, I never interacted with them. But from the information we gathered, they were competent people. I believe in competency. That does not mean that politicians will not hold political offices. No, that is a wrong notion. In some countries, in the parliamentary system, for example, before you'll be appointed a minister, you'll first of all be elected as a member of parliament, even before you'll be appointed as a minister. Of course, except some sensitive ministries like Ministry of Justice, Finance, and so on, that sometimes they bring people from outside parliament to head. So there's absolutely nothing wrong all over the world appointing a politician into office. But the emphasis is that whether the person is a politician or a technocrat, he must be competent. He must be somebody that is above board. He must be somebody that is seen to be less corrupt or should not be involved in antisocial activities. That is the driving force. In terms of corruption generally, no Nigerian is happy by our ratings. Rightly or wrongly, sometimes people dispute the figures, but all of us collectively are fighting against.